So there's currently a boss fight in Mad City, Crispy Bacon, as you're probably aware, so I thought it'd be awesome if we looked into the history of the boss fights. We've got all 7 of the boss fights here on a tier list, 5 tiers, S, A, B, C, F. We're going to be looking into all of them. We're going to be looking into the rewards you get, the attacks, anything extra to know about it, and we're going to be putting them on the tier list to see what is the best boss fight in Mad City history. So up first we have Cluckles. This is the only boss fight I actually didn't beat. I wasn't playing Mad City at this time, so I actually didn't fight it, but we can still have a look at the history and try and work out where we can rank it if we were playing at that time. So there was a factory in Mad City, kind of near the airport over in chapter 1, and you had to go to this factory, teleport to a mysterious area, do some parkour, and then you get a fuse. You get a fuse, you go to the criminal base and you power the rocket. You need 100 fuses to power this rocket, and when you do, it will launch up into the air, crash into the egg that's in the middle of the city, and then the Cluck Donalds will spawn, and you got to all defeat him, and you got to all fight him, and it looks insane. It was the very first boss fight, so it was a little bit interesting. If you died, you actually respawned, so you could keep fighting him and you could just keep playing, which is an interesting concept. I kind of understand why they did that, but obviously now we don't have that anymore. That's the only boss fight that you could respawn in for free. It also gave the reward to any player that was in the game when the boss was defeated. So if someone's just joined and then a minute later people defeat the boss and they're still in the prison, they will still get the reward, which is really weird. I don't really like that at all. The reward that everyone would get is this. The Banshee. So this is a flying vehicle. It is a 3-seater vehicle. Of course, I don't own it. As you know, I didn't defeat the boss, but we can still have a look at it. So it's got 3 seats and it has a driver's seat. It's a jet. Here's some footage of it on the screen. It's quite slow. It is one of the slower jets in the game, but the fact that it's got 3 seats is actually quite unique. I think it's the only vehicle in the game with 3 seats, and it does look pretty cool. And overall, for a first attempt of a boss fight, it was pretty good. I don't think Cluckles was a failure. I think they did a lot of things right. They did a lot of things wrong. Kind of live events were pretty new, and they didn't do a live event. They did a boss fight, which is a completely new concept on that, and I've got to respect that quite a lot. So I'm going to put it in C. I think that's a great kind of ranking. It's not an F. It wasn't a fail. It was a very good event, but it's not quite enough to get any higher. So now we're getting into the bosses that I have fought, and this one is Kua Kua in Season 3. You have to go inside the volcano to get a lava crystal, and then you have to go to the top of the volcano and place the crystal, and I believe it was either 4 or 6 crystals you needed, and then the lava in the volcano would disappear, and you can jump into the volcano, and everyone that jumped into the volcano would enter the boss fight, which is awesome. The attacks that the boss had were pretty cool. It could shoot fire, it could basically lift the floor up, because the floor was basically lava, and there was a little platform that you were standing on, so obviously if you fell into the lava, it's going to hurt quite a lot. And also it slept, which was really funny. It basically slept, which was really weird, and it was basically your opening to start attacking him. Everyone that defeated the boss would get the Heat Seeker. So it's another jet. It's very similar to the Banshee. However, this one is faster than the Banshee. As you can see, the speed of it still isn't great, but it is faster than the Banshee, but it can only seat 1 person. So the Banshee has more seats, but the Heat Seeker is faster. So it's kind of a compromise. This boss fight was very good. It fixed lots of issues that Cluckles brought along. It still wasn't 100% perfect, but it was a massive, massive improvement, and nostalgia is really running through my veins right now, because this literally got me into Mad City. I don't think it's S. It's not S tier. It's got room to improve, but it's 100% an A tier boss. This was so good. It literally made me fall in love with the game, and if that managed to happen, then it has to be high up on the tier list. And now for some controversy. Next up, Invasion Season 4. I don't like it. I'm sorry, okay? It's not great. If you don't know it, it was located in the military base. There was UFOs and stuff. Cluckles was basically back. He went for Season 3 because Kua Kua was the boss, and now Cluckles has returned. You could only fight the boss with 4 people. This was the first time they put a restriction on the boss fight. You had to be 4 people, and you had to be police, which was like the least common team. Everyone hated police. Everyone now still hates police. So once you got the 4 police and you started the boss fight, it is so unbelievably difficult. I actually like the difficulty of most boss fights. I think this was too difficult. It spawned waves of chickens, and you had to fight these waves. It had ones that were death ray ones that would snipe you. It had like yellow ones that would run really fast and explode. It had ones that would like spawn baby chickens. You had the normal chickens as well. It was absolute chaos. And then if you managed to do all that, you still had to defeat the main boss, which was Cluckles. It was such a long process. It took such a long time, and it was really just, it was too difficult in my opinion. The fact you only had 4 people was insane. But you're probably wondering, surely if you did all of that effort, you would get something that's really cool, something with lots of seats, something that's very fast, something that looks incredible. No, you got this, the Invader. Look at this car, man. I'm sorry, but this car looks so weird. It's not fast at all. It's 1 seat. It's not worth it. The difficulty of the boss, and this is the reward you get, it is 100% not worth it in my opinion. Looking back at it, it was definitely more difficult than most, and the reward you get for all that difficulty is just not as good as the Banshee or the Heat Seeker in my opinion. Overall, while the Banshee is better than the Invader, I still think the Invasion is better than Cluckles, but I'm going to stick it on the same tier. I'm going to stick it in C. I don't think it's B. I understand if you put it in S, I understand why, but it did a lot of things wrong. I didn't really like it all that much. It was too difficult and the reward just wasn't worth it. So now next up, Star-Lord. This actually released in Season 4 and it lasted until kind of the middle of Season 5. It basically spawned an Atlantis kind of area in the ocean near the volcano in Season 4. Lots of people thought it could be a new heist, like an underwater sea temple heist. People thought it could be a new apartment, because apartments are a big kind of center of focus at that time. Turns out it's actually a boss arena. As soon as the boss started, Atlantis kind of got destroyed and just turned into this weird kind of looking platform. You had to go around the map and find star crystals, and they were spawning on the shorelines. Then you had to come back and spawn them in one of the 6 kind of pillars. If you get all 6, you would teleport to the boss area. Star-Lord's pretty funny. The boss music is awesome as well. It's about bubbles. It did spikes on the ground. It lowered the platform. It was actually really cool. I believe it did a shockwave as well. And the reward you get for this is not actually a 1-seater. It's a 2-seater. It's this. You don't see it? Well, it's the Invisible Boatmobile. It's got 2 seats on it and it is an invisible car. It's called Invisible Boatmobile, so you assume it's land and sea, wouldn't you? Yes, no, it's not. As you can see, it doesn't even work on water. And this is kind of my biggest complaint with this boss fight, with the Invisible Boatmobile. I feel like it should have been a land vehicle and a sea vehicle. Just like with the Thunderbird that can hover over water, this should have been able to do that as well, in my opinion. Overall though, it's still pretty good. It's definitely above Cluckles and Invasion, in my opinion. Not as good as Kua Kua though. I think the Atlantis kind of just being removed and kind of replacing it with a boss area kind of defeated the whole purpose of Atlantis being there. As well as the Invisible Boatmobile not being a sea vehicle as well as a land vehicle. It doesn't go to A, but I'm going to stick it in B. I think it's a solid middle of the road kind of boss fight. And now for Season 6 with the Mech Cluckles boss fight. This literally released alongside Season 6's release, which is an awesome move in my opinion. I think releasing a brand new season and a brand new boss at the same time, so much content, so much playability, makes players really engaged and really interactive. This boss fight required you to look in the new map expansion that was also added in Season 6 for eggs. And if you found 6 eggs, you could place them at this kind of weird looking kind of area, and then when you place them at these area, then you all get teleported to the Mech Cluck boss fight. The boss fight was very fun. You had to shoot the weak point in the Mech Cluck's suit. It would also spawn some chickens to kind of avoid around the map, which is really cool. It would break the floor, kind of standard kind of boss fight attacks. And at the end of the day, it gave you this, the Giotto. And this is basically most people's favorite boss fight vehicle of all time. As you can see, it's very fast. It's really cool. It's got 2 seats in it as well. Drifting with it is pretty cool. As you can see, it's pretty fast with the turning as well. It's literally a supercar. If they sold this separately, it'll be worth multiple millions, and they just gave it away for free by beating the boss. This is definitely up there with Kua Kua. I think it could be above. It might be S tier. We'll see later on in the video if we move it up to S tier, but I think it is above Kua Kua. The boss was incredible. The vehicle, the reward you get was incredible. Starting the boss was very fun as well, and the time it released alongside other things was perfect in my opinion. So yeah, this is a brilliant boss fight. They nailed it with this one. Now for the last Chapter 1 boss fight, the Reindeer boss in Season 7 2020, at the end of 2020 for Christmas. To start the boss, you have to find batteries around the map and then fill up this generator with the batteries, and then you can take the carriage up to the boss fight. And this boss fight was incredible. It's probably the most difficult boss fight, but unlike Invasion, it didn't seem annoying. It seemed like it was actually pretty balanced. You'd have to go through waves of elves. There were green elves, red elves, yellow elves as well. You had to break the spawners to stop the elves from spawning. You had to keep defeating the elves. You had to keep pushing forward, and then eventually you would get to the Reindeer boss, and it's basically as difficult as a normal boss fight. So you had to do so much to get to that point, but that made it really exciting and really fun. And as soon as you beat it, you kind of learn something new, and it allows you to fight the boss again with that new knowledge. And at the end of the day, the boss fight was very complex. It was very cool. It had great attacks as well. It had this mysterious person trying to help you throughout the whole thing. And at the end of the day, if you defeated the boss, you could choose one of 2 vehicles to get, which were the Slayer and the Shredder. Here's the Slayer. As you can see, it's a 1-seater vehicle. It's got like a Santa sack kind of thing on the back of it. It is an awesome looking vehicle. You've got the boost kind of at the front there. You've got an engine on the front of it as well. It's an awesome looking vehicle. Most people prefer the second vehicle you could choose from, which we'll get into in a second, but honestly I think I might actually prefer this one. And the second vehicle is the Shredder, another 1-seater vehicle. This one doesn't really look Christmas themed, which is probably why people still like it and still use it to this day. It is awesome though. You've got 2 wheels on the front, and then you've got kind of this plow kind of thing on the back of it. It's got this propeller on the back of it. It's got these scales. It's most people's favorite vehicle, which is, I understand it. It's a very cool vehicle. When you beat the boss once, you can choose one of the vehicles, and if you beat it again, you can choose the other ones. There are 2 different rewards you can get for this boss fight, which I absolutely love. This boss is without a doubt S tier. The double rewards, the process of starting the boss fight being difficult, but not too difficult it seems, and it's very fun as well. And the main boss fight being the reindeer, awesome as well. And there was also the lore involved, and there was tons of other stuff as well. It is an amazing boss fight, 100% the best boss fight ever. And then that brings us to now, with Crispy Bacon. There's been a lot of content recently on this boss fight, and it's still in the game as I'm recording this video. To start the boss fight, you need to look for meteors, which spawn around the map every 130 seconds. You would shoot these meteors with your weapon, and then eventually they will explode, and then you can take a crystal that's located inside the meteor, as you can see here. You would then take that crystal to the military base, to this green building, and place the crystal inside its compartment, and then once you get 6 of those crystals, you can start the boss. The boss has loads of different attacks, some of them being brand new, like the gravity pull, never seen before with a boss fight. Basically pulls players into the center of the map. It's also got a grand slam, kind of like a normal one. It's got a coin kind of throw that will basically be explosive coins that will target you. It's got a laser that spins around, and it's also got a shield. It permanently protects itself for a period of time, and it also spawns some minions in. With this boss fight, we also have a shop. You can purchase with Robux some extra things. You can give yourself double health to help defeat the boss. We also have a golden carrot, which gives 2 times extra piggy tokens to everyone participating in the boss fight by golding the pig, which has a 1% chance of happening on its own. And then we have a piggy token, which gives you double piggy tokens for an hour. Defeating the boss for the first time gives you 2 things. It gives you this animated lightning skin. It's like purple and white, and it's animated. And it also gives you this Legion vehicle. It's got 10 seats, the most amount of seats out of any vehicle. It's very slow, but obviously it can fit tons of players, so it's kind of worth the decrease in speed. So you defeat the boss for the first time and you get 2 rewards, but you also will get piggy tokens, and this was mentioned with the golden carrot and the piggy token. Every time you defeat the boss, you get 100 piggy tokens, and if you buy the golden carrot, you'll get 200 piggy tokens if you defeat the boss. And if you've got the golden carrot, you defeat the golden pig. When you have the piggy token active, you'll get 400 piggy tokens. So the maximum you can get is 400 piggy tokens every time you defeat the boss. And you can use these piggy tokens to buy some rewards. We've got 2 vehicles, and we also have loads of different rewards here that are unlocking every day. So we've had some ornaments, we've had some toppers, and then soon we're going to be onto vehicle skins as well. As you can see, I own pretty much everything that's in this store because I managed to grind the piggy tokens. I've seen a lot of people complain about the boss and about how it's too grindy and that you need to beat the boss tons of times to get the rewards, and I understand that, but most boss fights you have to beat it once, then you get your reward, and then you're done. Now it actually gives you a purpose to keep fighting the boss and keep grinding it, which I think is really cool. You still get a vehicle for beating it for the first time, which I think was a genius move by 50 Studios. I also like the golden pig concept. I think maybe it's leaning a bit too heavily into the Robux side of things potentially. Also, if you die, you can spend 25 Robux to respawn. I understand if people get annoyed by it. It's done some right things, but it's also done some wrong things. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to stick it at the top of B. I think it's better than Star-Lord. I don't think any boss fight deserves to go in F. I think Piggy is kind of basically in the middle. It's completely in the middle. It's 4th out of 7th. If you disagree with something, let me know in the comment section down below because I'm very interested. If you think that the OG Cluckles is the best boss fight in the game and the pig is the worst boss fight in the game, that's fine. That's your opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell so you get notified for all future videos and all future shorts. If you want to check out my previous video reviewing the Raider Z, this is one of the vehicles you can get by defeating Crispy Bacon. You get a certain amount of piggy tokens and you can afford the Raider Z. It's a helicopter. It's an awesome helicopter. You don't even have to pay any cash or Robux to be able to obtain. You can click that video up there. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is IttyMD, and as always, peace out.